going on there, YouTube? So, kind of an update here on everything. The scale garage is still unfinished. I have not been able to find more of the wooden strips that I used from an old patio blind so I can build the sidewalls. Still working on it. I'm looking everywhere, you know, kind of systematically going through thrift stores and everywhere, Facebook, Craigslist, and nobody really saves old bamboo blinds, so that's not getting done for a while. So pardon the mess, pardon there's no real accessories and stuff in the scale shop. I just kind of threw some of the stuff out just for the time being. I've got a lot of new scale accessories new ideas that I've had, and some stuff coming for that once we build the other walls and get the lighting and the rafters and everything in. Yeah. So, back at USTE in Florida this year, my first ever event, I met up with the guys at GCM and Rob from Tiny Trucks USA. He handles their USA website. And I picked up one of their Cmax chassis. If you haven't seen GCM, you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll put a link in the video description. Go to GCM Racing's channel. They have tons of videos, tons of information, tons of products. They make so much stuff. The wheels on my original kind of box stock looking TF2 right now with the rusty Hilux body, those are GCM Racing wheels. I've had those for years. And they do a lot of custom stuff. They've got awesome videos. Chris and Dana, great guys. It was awesome to meet them. And their products live up to all the hype and everything that I thought they would be. So, I picked up here a Cmax Ultimate Yota 152 kit. Doesn't look like much in this little brown box, but it is. So we're going to open that, and that is designed for the Yota 152 axle. And that is a bowhouseRC product, which I have here. Now, it's complicated, but it's not really complicated. The axles are narrow. They are designed to work with a Vetera center diff, and GCM makes the axle shafts that fit with it, and we got universal shafts and got everything for those to fit this chassis. Now what that is, a 152 is 152 millimeter wide. Your standard RC 4-wheel drive Yota, Yota 2, K44, all the scale axles are, I think, I'm not sure, 168, 172, somewhere around there, maybe. I could be completely wrong. But they're quite a bit wider. So when you got a Yota body, Mojave body, original Tamiya body, they really stick out a little bit. Even my Trail Finder 2, these GCM wheels have a lot of negative offset, but they still stick out about 3 or 4 millimeter on each side with the tire. So what Bauhaus has done is created a super narrow axle to complement the super scale frame from GCM. So you get what they call a dollhouse truck, which is extremely scale. Tires fit completely under the fender. It's more about the scale than it is the performance. And yeah, so that's what we're going to build here. We're going to start this. It's going to be a kind of installment build. For now, we're going to unbox the chassis, and hopefully we can get the axles assembled in this video. So yeah, let's tear into this. I've been dying. Alright guys, let's take this in for a minute. Look how this came packaged. This is so clear, so simple, so refined. I mean, it's just a plain brown box, no fancy, nothing. But look at this. I mean, it's all labeled, it's all in order, the hardware is with it. This is the ultimate kit, as I said. This is, I think if you buy it from Tiny Trucks USA, it's around $370, $380. It's under $400. And it does not come with axles. That is the thing. We don't have springs, but we've got machined aluminum chassis rails. We've got rear suspension mount, shackles, hangers, all the hardware. It's all clearly labeled and organized. We got front spring mount, same thing. We have all of our cross members. We have the hardware in there with it. It's all clearly labeled. Transfer case cross member, rear shock mount, rear cross member. We have our Cmax shock mount. This is, I guess, for the front. We have a bag of hardware. And then the most expensive bag, we have the SSD version of the scale transmission. We have the transmission motor mounting plate. We have the GCM LRT2 transfer case, which, if you're not familiar with these, RC 4-wheel drive makes a similar transmission, the R4, and the transfer case, it still has a little shaft between them. The LRT2 from GCM bolts directly to this transmission. That's what I had on my old Blazer build. And you don't have any extra shafts. Bolts directly to the back of the transmission and gives you your outputs in the right spot. Comes with all the gears pre-lubed, full ball bearings, all the hardware, motor mount plate, everything all in one. So all we need to complete this are some leaf springs and the axles. And the axle kits are from bowhouseRC. You can pick different widths. The Cmax chassis itself is extremely versatile. You can tell it's kind of long. You can do a lot of stuff with it, and I think they actually have some extensions for it. I know, talking with bowhouseRC, he had a crew cab F350, and he had 3D printed an extension so it would fit the wheelbase right. But these are builder's kits. These are a little more advanced than your out-of-the-box Trail Finder 2, because you can customize everything. They have these available in leaf springs. They have a radius arm style front for like the Land Rovers or the Defenders, the LC70s, things like that, with captive coils and radius arms. You can do links. You can do anything with these, and it's kind of the next level. You get tired of building the basic kits, and you're not ready to fabricate your own chassis and stuff like I've done with the rat rods. This would be a good direction to go. You can completely customize it, but it's all there. Everything's available, and it's really nice, high quality stuff. And yeah, so I bought this, and I've got the Toyota style axles that Bauhaus offers, and I'm thinking maybe the 4Runner. This is going to be a tiny tire, super scale build, but I don't know. I don't know what I want to do. We've got still just 11 months until USTE 2020, and you know, 4Runners have been out for a little bit. They've been out for a few months now. I don't know if I want to do that. I might have another plan for my 4Runner body. So I'm not ready to set a wheelbase in stone for this yet. You know me, I'm not afraid to chop stuff if we need to shorten this. Or if we need to lengthen it, we can do what we need to do. But another option that this gives you, it comes with that R4 style transmission and the motor plate. Something like the 4Runner, you could put on this with Toyota axles, and it has an opening hood already. You can get a scale motor to put underneath. Extra points if you're into that kind of competition stuff. A lot of options here. So yeah, it's pretty exciting to see this actually in person. I've been looking at GCM products for about 3 years. They're part of the reason I started this channel, because I like when Chris and Dana get on there and they just talk and they just show the scale stuff and they just geek out. And that's, you know, they have a kind of the same style of interest that I do. And the way they do scale stuff is kind of where I set the bar for myself to achieve. And their products definitely reflect that. Extremely high quality stuff. I mean, we get servo mounts. They've really thought of everything. And all the hardware is right here. They've got spacers and shims to make everything work and jive. And this is, you know, their design chassis. So it's pretty cool stuff. So next, let's take the axles out and take a look at what that kit entails. Okay, so what we have here is the bowhouseRC 152 NC Yota axle. And that is a 152 millimeter width. It's narrower than most. And it's 3D printed. So they directly shipped this to me from Shapeways. So we have the finest, highest quality print that you can pretty much get. We have a front steer axle, we have our knuckles and hubs, we have our diff covers, and we have our rear axle housing. And really high quality Shapeways prints. I mean, if you've seen any of my other videos about that, but they work in conjunction with Shapeways. That too. They work in conjunction with GCM Racing. So this is your hardware kit for your axle set. And it says up here GCM Racing Yota 152 axle hardware kit. So we have correct length machined rear axle, bearings, all the hardware, even the 12mm hexes, wheel nuts. Then our front axle, same thing. We've got CVDs, machined to the right length, 12mm hexes, all the hardware, all the ball bearings, everything. The center diff is Vitera. And the reason that Vitera is chosen for this is because it's durable and it's cheap. These are readily available, inexpensive parts to try to bring the cost down of all this. Axle housings and everything are slightly larger than I would prefer. They look a little bit bigger than the RC 4-wheel drive Yota style axles, but we're getting that narrow width, and right now this is the only option in the world for that. So that's what we're going to roll with. I mean, it's just slightly bigger. The diff covers maybe 2 or 3mm larger diameter than a Yota axle, and that's just because Vitera gears are bigger. Their center diff, they're somewhere in between RC 4-wheel drive and Axial's original axle style. But I mean, just the way this is all packaged and laid out, it's pretty much idiot proof. So I shouldn't have a problem putting it together. All right, guys. So I'm really not in a rush to put this together. I am going to start here. This video will probably just do the rear axle, kind of get a feel for working with this stuff. I don't know what direction I want to go yet. Now, like I said, I originally wanted to put my 4Runner body on this and go that route, but I may have other plans for the 4Runner right now. So we're just going to start out slow here. I've got the rear axle hardware kit, got our Vitera diff and gear, and our housing from Bauhaus. So let's see how it goes. Alright guys, that was scary. I don't have any experience with 3D printed axles, so I didn't know what to expect. I've had a lot of experience with 3D printed other parts, and it's a little scary. These are not super, I mean, they're not as expensive as like Curry's and stuff, but it's not a cheap venture to go into this, and yeah, it's very well designed. The machine parts and stuff are perfect. I had a couple things I forgot to do. I had to take it back apart and do. Need to blow out the axle housing with compressed air. Shapeways, the powder that's left over catches in openings like that. So the first time I tried to put my shaft through, it didn't really go. I feel like there might be a little resistance. I'm not 100% sure. It spins, but it's not super freely. I had a hard time. I think it's the 3D part. I know they recommended that you on these pieces you drill them out just a little bit, things like that to make it easier for your 3mm hardware to thread into. But places like here in the center where the ball bearings go for the actual center diff, they seemed it was off a little bit. When I went to put my shafts in, I think it's just the last layer. I didn't sand it. I probably should have just slightly hit it. I don't know if it's the coating that makes these parts black instead of white, or the dye or whatever they do to it. But it's all together and it works. And again, it's really nice stuff. It's just a little scary for me doing a 3D printed axle, because you see so many axles get banged up and beat up, and plastic just it's a little daunting to me, but it has to work because there's a lot of folks running these out there, and they seem like they're really good stuff. The diff cover bolts on just like the RC 4-wheel drive Yota 2. It just slides in, it holds the center diff and bearings in place, and then you screw from the other side, from the input side. The mounts look fairly universal, so we could run leaf springs, we could run 4-link, we could run shocks on those mounts. You know, there's shock mounts back here. These end pieces, they are, again, that was another point for me trying to get them on all the way. The holes didn't quite line up exactly, but those were the ones that I was told to open up a little bit before trying to put the hardware in. And yeah, has some aluminum shims that slide in the ends of the caps, the axle caps. The bearing goes on the inside, and then it comes with a narrow 12mm hex. It's nice and machined, and it does have an Allen head, a 0.5 mil set screw in it, so you don't have to worry about losing your drive pins. And yeah, so I'm just like you guys. I had to get online and find a video. These don't come with instructions, but GCM Racing and some of their counterparts have lots of detailed videos showing to put these together. I believe it was the tank. It was a video I watched. He has a video for each component of the Cmax build, had these exact axles, and showed exactly step by step how to do it. So it was a new venture for me, so I got on there and found somebody that knew better and learned from them. So again, I don't know what I'm going to do with this thing. I originally was thinking 4Runner, but I'm kind of wavering on that. But we've already locked into the Yota style axle, so that's going to limit what we could put with it as far as, reality. It'd have to be something foreign, something Toyota maybe. So I don't know yet. Let me know what y'all think in the comments, and be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Be sure to check out GCM Racing's channel, and check out bowhouseRC. Got lots of 3D printed and machined and custom RC style goodness. But until next time, keep it scale.